Gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity just to give a short presentation on Tigris. I won't keep you too long, just a quick sort of 10-minute summary of where Tigris has been over the last 6 months and what our aspirations are for the immediate future. So, key thing here being a first mover in southeast Turkey. You all know the story about Turkey. It's weathered the recent financial storm very well. And what we have looked at is the specific issue of the emergence of the southeast of Turkey itself. The region has gone through a period of instability, but now that regional recovery, which is being fully endorsed and supported by the Turkish government, is starting to take hold. There's a lot of investment going into the southeast, and a large part of this is driven by Turkey's underlying desire to get into the EU. There's also a large amount of money going into the southeast of Turkey through the likes of the EBRD and the World Bank. The geological pedigree of the region goes without saying as well, and there's a very high potential for gold-rich VMS, epithermal and porphyry targets. Despite this high prospectivity, because of the challenges in recent years, the area has been relatively devoid of exploration and development in recent years. And here comes Tigris. Board and management team with a proven track record in building companies, discovering, acquiring and developing resources in emerging environments, and I'll go on to elaborate on the team in the next slide. We have regional expertise already, and now with the investment and partnership with Ariana, we hope to take that to the next level. We have what I call the comprehensive development strategy, which is designed to enable us to exploit all opportunities that come our way. And with the revisions to the Turkish mining law that have recently been published, we anticipate several tens of thousands, about 1,600 licenses to become available in the next couple of months through the tender process. Relatively unchallenged, certainly in the southeast. I mentioned the regional prospectivity, quite a good graphic, and it's perhaps maybe not that clear here, but you can see the Tethyan metallogenic belt here, and you can see the variety of mineral deposits scattered throughout. And what you can see and take note is the largely unexplored area in the southeast of Turkey itself. So we have a specifically defined area of interest within the southeast of Turkey. This area itself is around 225,000 square kilometres, equivalent in size to the Northern Ireland and the UK, and there is plenty of scope for looking for deposits of significant size. Board and management team, Dr. Tim Coughlin, CEO of Lydian, is our chairman. There's myself, chief executive. My background is primarily as a consultant, previously with the SRK group, but in recent years I've jumped into the junior sector and I've spent some time with Altus Strategies and several other organisations working primarily in the field of gold exploration. Kerem has now joined us as a non-executive director. Roderick Corrie, who I think has now left the room, is our de facto CFO. Again, vast wealth of experience. And again, out of the Lydian camp. Hugh Devlin, a huge amount of experience on the security front, one of the original founder members of Lydian as well. He's also with us. And Steve Smith. So you notice in there is a large representation from individuals already involved with Lydian. And indeed Tigris stemmed out of the original discussions between Kerem and Tim, looking at the Tethyan metallogenic belt in general and looking for opportunities where there's emerging areas. I mentioned before the comprehensive development strategy. The key thing that underpins this is our ability to work concurrently on 3 different themes. Acquiring tenure via the tender process, which, as I said, we will hopefully after, say, 16 months delay will be initiated in the early new year. Through greenfield target generation, and indeed through national partners as well. And we have several negotiations ongoing looking at prospective ground with companies already operating, Turkish companies already operating in the southeast. So exploration highlights to date. Having conducted office desktop studies, we identified several areas of high prospectivity. We looked at several layers within our GIS system, looking at the existing geological information, structural information, and indeed bringing in structural analysis and hyperspectral analysis to home in on several key areas. From the time spent on the ground, and certainly over the past 4 months I've spent a significant amount of my time on the ground, we have seen minimal exploration and indeed production. We know local license holders are enthusiastic about looking at cooperation in JVs, and this is as a result of the changes in the mineral law, which make it very prohibitive for the sort of local small-scale owners to retain tenure on account of the new constraints that have been put in by the ministry, which require technical and financial expertise to be demonstrated. Many of the areas we've seen are highly amenable to hyperspectral and structural analysis for further target generation, and for having been on the ground we know that the terrain is highly variable, but we know that remote access is possible. And indeed the population density, albeit whilst low, is scattered throughout the southeast of Turkey, so we're not too far into the woods. And indeed major regional road and rail infrastructure investment can be seen throughout the southeast of Turkey. As I mentioned, there's a big drive within Turkey to reintegrate the southeast, perhaps having been on the margins previously, and so the investment is clear to see. We've concentrated on 2 areas to date, in the Ari, Kars provinces within the north of our area of interest, and the Bitlis region, which is to the southwest of Lake Van. And indeed, having spent some time in these areas, we now have made 2 license applications. The second of the applications, which I would say will be our focus in the new year, is within the Bitlis region. The area itself is around 6 kilometres by 4.5 kilometres, 2,000 hectares being the maximum size of exploration license that you can have in Turkey. And you can see some of the assays shown there for both float and outcrop, as well as quartz vein systems shown on the ridge. And indeed we have hydrogen sulfide venting within the stream valley just shown in the middle there. So this area was identified on account of the structural analysis work that we've done, and we have the intersection of several major trends. So we're off to a good start. Our capital structure, looking at the most recent seed round, the news of which went out last Tuesday, we've raised 530,000 Canadian dollars for the issue of 12 million shares. That leaves the board and director ownership at 35%, with a further 42% coming from private investment and 42% from private investment and 22% from corporate investors. We have no warrants or options on issue, so fully diluted our valuation is 590,000 Canadian for 18 million shares. Position we have at the present moment is 430,000 Canadian dollars or so. We have a small efficient team just now, so we have a low burn rate, and if all goes according to plan, we may be looking for further finance in the first half of 2011. The graph there just illustrates the breakdown of our investors to date, and included within that Turkish 19% is Ariana. Elaborating a bit further on that, our partnership, our investment from Ariana, we consider the synergies that we now have with Ariana to really give us a huge ability to work in the southeast. Further investment for Avicenna Capital, based in Istanbul, will again allow us the ability to tap into the local investment. And indeed, we're looking at further opportunities for joint venturing and investment. So short-term objectives, having already commenced the preliminary round of ground reconnaissance, we're happy that we have a series of areas of interest that we have started to follow up on, and indeed have many more to follow up on in the new year. And the seed finance has been completed. We are currently liaising and negotiating with potential local partners, with ongoing greenfield target generation as well. Obviously the tender side of things is currently pending, but again this reinforces our comprehensive development strategy, so that we're approaching this on 3 different fronts. Our aspiration is to IPO most likely on the TSX in late 2001. We'll see how exploration progresses, we'll see how the markets progress. That might obviously slip to the right, but we would like to aim for that. So in summary, we're targeting gold and copper in an underexplored and highly prospective region. We have a board and management team with an unequaled global experience in emerging environments and a proven track record in discovering, acquiring and developing resources and building companies. And finally, we do consider the synergies between Tigris and our investing local partner Ariana to constitute an unrivaled partnership in the region. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now. I also have some hard copies of the presentation, which I'm happy to hand over later on as well.